back on the 32 today. If you watch my shorts, and if you aren't, you need to, because I do updates there too, you would have seen that we had some positive movement on the 32 Ford, but also a negative impact. We had a bit of a shop accident that damaged the fuel tank. I'm going to show you here the damage immediately in the aftermath, the footage from one of my shorts here, so you can see exactly what happened. And right here, what I'm going to show you what I've done so far in preparation of getting this fixed. I've got the spreader bar off. I've got the tank loose. You can see the damage. And I've got, right now, all I've got to do to get this out of there is I've got to take the two wires off the sending unit and the two hoses and the vent hose off of the fuel pump. So once that is done, we'll be able to do it. This just came in. Let's do an unboxing, take a look. Feel like it's Christmas and somebody's playing that clever box in a box game. And by clever, I mean irritating. Items I won't be needing. What you're seeing here is a brand new fuel tank for my 32 Ford. Now this is important. There are some differences. You can see the two holes here. This is a baffled internal tank. This is meant for, you can use them for carbureted situations, but they're mainly meant for fuel injection. But since I am using an internal tank fuel pump, you need this allotment and that. So the pump goes in there. I actually managed to find a good deal, but this is still going to end up being a $450 error on my part. But what we've got to do next, I'm going to sand this down, wet sand it, get it nice and slick, paint it the satin red that the car is, and get them swapped out. And after that, be much more careful with my stuff in the shop. All right, forgive me for being a little bit winded. I've been outside playing with the dogs. What is next? Well, you saw just now, tank is out. I'm going to swap over all the sending units and the fuel pump and all of that stuff into the new tank. The first thing I've got to do is get the new tank painted. I have some race red, which this is Ford race red. Do not have any clear. Since I've moved to the rural areas of Arkansas, I no longer am nearby English Color and Supply, which is where I used to get my paint supplies. However, there is one in Springdale, Arkansas, which is very close to my daughter, fortunately. So she is supposed to be picking up a quart of clear today, and I'm going to go tomorrow and pick it up. In the meantime, what I've got to do is I'm going to sand that down. These tanks come in a primer finish. They're very, very nice, very good shape. All you have to do is scuff them to make sure the paint adheres, then paint the paint and the clear coat. I do have enough paint to paint it red, don't have the clear coat. That is coming tomorrow. So next we're going to be scuffing that. Second problem that I had on this, I have since discovered, frankly because I'm an idiot, you really can't adjust the modulator valve on jack stands. I have built a lot of cars, 99% of them have been stick shifts. Automatics are kind of a mystery to me. The good news is once I get the car back and running, I'm going to try to use the methods, driving it, making adjustments to the modular valve to get this thing to shift. So that is good. Also, the other problem I was having, the fan wasn't working. I have determined it's a combination of my error and a combination of a really, really crappy schematic on the painless wiring system for the actual fan. You have a relay system that you buy in painless. It's a good quality product. The wiring schematic is horrendous. What I've done is this. Good old Amazon strikes again. This is a fast storm relay. The cool thing about it is it comes basically pre-wired, all of the wires labeled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jerk that relay out, which I'm already in the process of doing, wire this one in following the schematics. That should fix the problem with this. I ran 12 volts straight to the fan. Fan works, that's not the problem. This is the issue. So what we've got to do is this. I'm going to set up the fuel tank. I'm going to scuff it with 600 sandpaper, get it ready to paint, try to get it painted over the next day or so. Obviously you have to take your time with that to make sure that it's right. I'll get the clear tomorrow and hopefully be spraying paint and clear either at the end of the day tomorrow or at least on Sunday. We're now on Friday after work, and I'm going to try to go ahead and get that scuffed up and ready to go. I'm going to replace the relay system for the electric fan on the radiator. Make sure that that's working. Once I get the fuel tank back in it and get it started up, make sure that's working. Once that's done, we'll begin the process of trying to adjust that modulator. Assuming I get that fixed, at that point, it's park this car until it is ready to go to interior. The individual I've got that does the interior is wonderful, but he's also quite booked, and he also does me some favors, so I make sure that I try to do it on his time. So at that point, the 32 will be ready to be set aside and wait for interior, so I can take it down there and get the interior ready. But let's get started on that fuel tank. Again, with this fuel tank, it's already in primer. It's already ready to go. All I've got to do is scuff it to make sure the paint adheres to it. I'm going to dry sand it with 600, see if that goes. I'll wet sand it if I have to, but typically wet sanding doesn't really have a whole lot of benefits over dry sanding at this level, especially when you're considering something that only is minimally exposed. I'm putting a satin clear on it, which is a little more forgiving as far as finish goes, and we'll see how it goes. Let's get started. This is clogging my actual sandpaper up, so I am going to go ahead and move to wet sanding. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to 400 and make it a little easier on myself and then come back with 600. I'm going to pull the good cap off of it, put the one that was damaged on this one to cover that up. Should be good to go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a cloth and some solution to clean this up with, to check everything to make sure that I've got the glaze coating of the primer broken. That way the paint will adhere to it. Clean that up and see if it's ready. The stuff that I've always used to clean is Clean Strip Prep All. There's many things you can use. I've just always had good luck with this, so that's what I'm going to be using on this, just it and a nice cloth, a nice clean cloth. That's what you're getting off right there. Okay, with that, I am satisfied that I have sufficiently broken the glaze on this. It is ready to paint. That's the advantage of buying new parts, especially from such a wonderful vendor such as Tanks. The parts are in excellent shape. They're pretty much ready to go. There's no body work to be done. But the glazing on this has been broken, so the paint will adhere to it. The next step is going to be spray some red base coat on this, and then the clear coat. I'm going to pick it up later. We are midday on Friday, which, if I can give the date here, it is September 19th. This is a special weekend for me. I'm about to take my wife to a very nice date night and dinner because our first date was 15 years ago this weekend. So I'm going to table actually painting this tank until that is done, and then I've got to drive to pick up the clear coat that my daughter is going to be so graciously picking up for me. Once that is done, we will get back on it, maybe tomorrow, the Saturday evening, at the very latest Sunday, to start painting on this and try to get this progressing. Let's keep going. One more thing I'm going to do before I actually depart for dinner with my wife for our 15th anniversary. Got a piece in the mail just real quick while I was getting ready to go. Show you what this is. As you can see, we had some damage here. The lens was broken during the accident. So we're going to get rid of all of this, pull this out, put a new lens in. God, I hate flathead screws. And just like that, that's good. What I decided to do was go a little bit of a different route on the paint. The paint that I had, that I originally painted this, at this point is a couple of years old now. So I have decided I've got a paint supplier nearby that can make me up rattle cans of the actual custom mix Race Red Ford, which is paint code PQ. I had one already. I've already sprayed the bottom side, and as you can see, it turns out real nice. Using what I had, I did not have enough to do the whole thing. So while I'm on my way to dinner with my wife on our 15th anniversary of our first date, I'm going to go ahead and pick up another can. 30 bucks, not that big of a deal. It is still high Vogue paint, just like the other stuff. So it should work just fine. I do have the clear confirmed with my daughter. She's already picked it up. So I'll go pick up the clear tomorrow morning, come back and shoot the clear after, of course, I shoot the top of the tank. I also already have the sending unit and the fuel pump mounted in. I'll, of course, mask off that over there. That cap is the old one. It's damaged. I've got a new cap for it. So I will spray the tank with base coat clear coat, and then we'll go ahead and reinstall it. Okay, as that continues to flash off and dry, you can see the shiny parts where it's not dry yet, but as this flashes off being a base coat, it will flatten out and coat nicely. I'm very happy with that. Have a little bit of a boo-boo right there. That's not a big deal because that actually doesn't even show. That's where the body comes across the tank. So that's not even going to show. But the paint laid out evenly. I was trying to show you while I was painting it what I was using. I found a new location for getting paint mixed here very close to me. And they mixed up this can of Ford Race Red. And like I said, this was about $30. A lot better than spending for a quart of the stuff and then having to mix it up and all of that. I'm still going to have to do that with the clear. But the reason I wanted to go ahead and get the mixed stuff in the clear is because the way the Advantage Clear works, it has a variable sheen to it depending on how much, what the ratio of clear versus catalyst you use. For this car, as you can see, it's a satin finish. It's not exactly flat, but it's a satin finish. It does not have much sheen to it, which is what my daughter wanted. You mix this clear in a 4-to-1 ratio. If you want it a little bit glossier, you do 3-to-1, 2-to-1. And for a popping clear, this particular Advantage 500 does not do the extreme glossiness, but for the as glossy as that can be, you mix it 1-to-1. So I mixed this 4-to-1, coming up with that, which is perfectly what we were looking for on it. I am about to leave and journey over 3 hours to visit my daughter and pick up that clear. The reason I didn't get the clear from these folks is that is the part of the finish that is really determining what the sheen is on it, and I wanted it to match the car, so I wanted to buy the same clear that I used originally. The closest English color to me is in Springdale, Arkansas, which is about 3 hours away. I'm about to head that way now and pick up the clear. When I get back, probably later this evening, if I feel up to it, if not, I'll do it tomorrow morning. We'll go ahead and spray the clear on the tank. Once that dries off, we'll get this thing back together and try to continue on getting it ready to go to the interior. Stay tuned. Let's keep going. Clear is on. Looks good. It's not going to be nearly this glossy as this flashes off and cures. It flattens out to a semi-gloss finish. Got a little bit of trash right here, but that's not a big deal because the body line comes here. That won't even be shown. Just want to be sure I had good coverage. But I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to get on the new fan relay system to see if I can get the fan hooked up. And then after that point, what we will do is reconnect the vacuum line to the manifold for the modular valve on the C4 transmission. And then I'm going to, once I get the wiring done and get the manifold vacuum, I'm going to call it a day and go ahead and produce this video. And then the next video, of course, will have the installation of the tank and finishing up on that. I want to be sure and give that tank several days to dry, cure, and gas out. That way we don't have any issues of scratches or anything like that when I put the tank back in, because it's a very, very tight fit, and I'm going to have to be very careful getting it in. So I'm going to let that cure. We will not see the tank back on in this video. Let's get started on the relay system for the electric fan. Okay, getting ready to test the circuit now. The red should be hot right now because I've got the battery hooked up. Gray should not be hot until I turn the key on. Or excuse me, yellow should not be hot until I turn the key on. Gray will not be hot until the switch throws on the thermostat and the blue goes to the fan. So let's first check the red wire, make sure we've got light. We've got good, as you can see there. The yellow is not, but I have to hook it up to the ignition, so let's get to that. Here to test connections, I needed an ignition connection. I found this pink wire, which I am not going to use because this goes to cruise control. I'm not using cruise control, but that's a 12-volt ignition feed going to this. Get the camera set up here. Now again, the yellow should be through ignition. Ignition is off. We do not have a light. Turn the ignition on. Go again. And we have power. So that should be connected. I'm going to connect this back up to the relay. Get to it in here. Kind of a tight fit. Needs to be. And as you can see, my fan relay is right there. I'm going to tidy up the wires, but we are good to go because now we have power to everything, and it should be operational as of now. Of course, we'll test that out. If it doesn't work this time, I tested the fan, I've tested the connections. If it doesn't work this time, the problem is the switch. The good news is this kit came with another switch, so I can replace that switch if I determine that it's not working. Okay, things done today. The fan relay is hooked up. The wires, I've still got to tape this up. I'm going to secure that. Don't worry about that. That will be done here in just a second. I just realized I missed that. But all the other wires are done. We did our test light on that. Everything works. I've actually cleaned up the wires in here where everything is tucked away. The only wires I've got left hanging are for the radio, and there's one labeled cigarette lighter. That's an accessory straight to power. I may use that for something else. And this black wire is for the air conditioner switch, but I think I've bypassed that and hooked it up directly, but I will check that out. But other than that, the wiring is nicely, neatly tucked away. I've got my tail light ready to receive the new arm because that arm is broken from the accident we had. This back here is good. I've touched up this area here. That looks good. And the fuel tank is flashing off nicely. It's drying. It's got just the right amount of sheen. Everything looks good. Matches the car really well. So I'm very happy about that. I am going to let this cure for a couple of days before I attempt to slide it back into position because it is a very, very tight fit and I don't want to risk damaging the paint any more than I have to. So, fan should work now. We'll find out, of course. The wiring is tucked away. Everything looks good. I've got my manifold vacuum hooked back up to the modulator valve on the C4 transmission so we can test that out. Tank is ready to paint. Or not ready to paint, rather. It's done painting, ready to cure so we can install it back and move forward. As far as what's next, all I've got left to do on the coupe, assuming everything works fine, get the tank back in, get it started and running again, make sure the fan is working, and other than that, we'll adjust the modular valve in the proper way, not on jack stands. So, live and learn. Like I said, I haven't done automatic transmissions in the even remote past. The only one that I did do was on the 68 F100 that I built for my wife some time ago. That had a 4R70W and it was computer controlled. So it's a different animal than this is, and that is literally the only other automatic transmission I've ever done. As far as that goes, like I said, make sure the fan works, adjust that modular valve after I get that on there. Then it's a matter of putting the cool mat down. I am going in a couple of weeks to order the material for the interior, and at that point in a few weeks, maybe longer, it just depends on how backed up the interior guy is, we will take this car will disappear for a while waiting for the interior to get done. That's going to do it for this video. Next video, we'll move forward, getting the tank back in, get everything ready and running again. Thanks for joining me. See you soon.